All right, today we're going to talk about how to improve production in the construction industry. And obviously that means that on each job it adds up for the whole job and improves your company bottom line. Labor typically is about a third of your business if you're in the self-perform world, doing masonry or concrete or whatever you're doing. If you're a general contractor, it could be lower. So labor is a big part. So if 100% of your job cost and your P&L, a third of it's labor, you improve labor 10%, that's 3% on your profit. It's a big number because most contractors, as we talked about in an earlier video on contractor overhead and profit, most contractors make around 5% net profit. You can improve 3% if you just go a little bit faster. So let's talk about how to do that. And it reminds me of a story of good old Joe. Joe was my concrete supervisor, ran the concrete crews for years. When I first started, we got to know each other. He was a foreman for one of my competitors, and I hired him to run my concrete department. And I also had hired a project manager to run it and do the estimating. So Joe was great. He could run 4 jobs really well. Don't give him 5. He gets overwhelmed. But he did a great job. Our jobs were always on budget. He was hands-on. He was all over it. And I'll never forget one day, I walked out on one of the job sites, and Joe wasn't there, but one of his foremen was, one of the guys, Frank, who worked for me. And I said, Frank, tilt up concrete. You pour the slab on the ground, obviously, and then you pour the walls on the slab, and then you tilt up the walls with the crane, and then you set them in place, put the roof on, you got yourself a warehouse box, which is your building, right? And there's, depending on part of the country, and in some parts of the country there's not much, in others it's prominent, and then some of the cold country they use masonry, et cetera, for your exterior. It doesn't matter. The point is, so I'm out on the job and I see Frank, and I say, Frank, when are you going to tilt up? Well, they're pouring footings, then you do slab, then you do the walls, and you erect the walls, you lift the walls, the tilt up walls into place. And usually we figure about 8 to 12 weeks to get the walls up, and then you can finish the building. And we had a pretty good team. We had a good crew. We did a lot of work, millions and millions of square feet of buildings. I don't know how many square feet I did, at least 20 million square feet of buildings, a lot of buildings over 20, 30 years. And we ended up with 75 guys in our crew, so it was a lot of labor. And my job was to keep them motivated, and I had an incentive program and all sorts of stuff. But I'll never forget, good old Frank, good old Joe, good old Frank. And he was a good guy. And so I'm talking to him one day, and I said, Frank, when do you think you can get these walls up? Because I know what my end date is. I got to be done by July 15th or September or whatever it is. And he goes, well, we were thinking, I was working with the crane guy and the concrete supplier and the pump guy and this guy. I think we can get it up by October 15th. I go, October 15th? That's like 4 weeks from now. Usually we think 4 months. Usually we figure 3 months. He goes, well, that's just kind of how it seemed to be able to work out. I'm going, really? To me, that's not acceptable. That's going with the flow, not going with what's best for you, me, and the company, and your crews to make an incentive pay on their budget so they can all make some more money. So I said, Frank, here's the deal. Every day you're early, first of all, if you hit it by October 1st, not the 15th, I'll give you $3,000. And I'll give every guy in your crew $100 a day for those 2 weeks early. So everybody's going to get $100 a day, whatever that is, $1,000 for 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is, paydays, and you're going to get $3,000 or $4,000. And I said, you think you can make it? And he says, well, without an incentive, probably not. But with that incentive, we'll make it no problem. So initially he said, I don't think I can do it. That's a lot. That's hard. I love to use the word hard. It's so hard. Yeah, when you don't try, you don't plan ahead, you don't think, you go with the flow. So I made him an offer, So it's going to cost me like 20, 30 grand for this incentive program. The crew's going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. We're going to finish on time. I'm going to save my temporary facilities and my fencing and my security guard and all that money because we're going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks early. And I'm going to save a bunch of money on that. And I'm probably going to make more than I'm spending. So I did a little analysis. If I offer my field crew, my working field crew, an incentive to pay 2 weeks faster. 2 weeks faster. And I have 20 men on the crew, which if I add up my crew, I've got my budget right here on my computer, $50 an hour, 20 men, $1,000 an hour, tools and equipment 100, total crew cost $1,100 an hour, $8,800 a day. That's what it's going to cost me for this crew. So if I offer an incentive, I'm going to save 10 days. That's $88,000 right off the bat. And I'm going to offer them 30 grand in incentive. Guess what? That doesn't even count the general conditions cost. I'm just going to save myself what? $50,000. Think. You want to improve productivity? Think. What's it going to take to hit the goal? First, I got to have a goal, then I got to monitor it, and then I got to offer an incentive. I'm not saying offer incentive on everything, but I've noticed when I work with contractors to develop a profit incentive program, what I call the PIP plan, profit improvement, profit incentive plan, we come up with a job cost scorecard tracking system, which I've spoken about, and put it in place, hold people accountable, pay people when they hit the budget, and pay people double when they, or even more than that, when they improve the budget. You're going to improve your bottom line at least 10%. So I started thinking about other ways. So if I add more power poles, my crew doesn't have to walk back and forth. If I add more toilets at 200 a week or a month, my crew doesn't have to walk back and forth so much. I'd have about 15, 20 guys on my concrete crews every day out there building a 100,000 square foot industrial building. I could save a lot of money. If I just put in 2 more or 3 more power poles at literally nothing, $2 grand a month, $200 a month. Let's save a fortune. So I start thinking about what else could I do? I could move the toilets, put one right in the middle of the slab. They can just go there. Yeah, it costs me more money. Unbelievable how much money I can save. So I start doing the calculations here, and I've got them right here, and I've got them on my computer. Let's just take a 20-man crew, $8,800 a day. You know, I don't know how many people you have on your company and on your crew. Divide it in 2. I don't care. You got 10 guys. You got 3 guys. You got 30 guys, 100 guys. I had 75 guys on my crew, so add a bunch of zeros, it's really good. So 20-man crew loses 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. They show up late, they start late, they smoke, they leave early, they take a long break. The foreman's on the phone, nobody was working. He goes to Home Depot for a half hour or an hour. Boom, I just lost 30 minutes a day. And so that works out to 2,000 hours a year lost. So I've just picked, how can I pick up 10 hours a day for my crew, for 20 men? $50 an hour, $100,000. I can win or I can lose. If I finish the schedule, I'm a general contractor. I switch the schedule 10%. 10 weeks, I finish it in 9 weeks. Roughly 10%, right? 6 minutes an hour, 10%. 48 minutes a day saved. 20-man crew, 200 days. $352,000 in savings. Huge money. Huge money. Incentive pay, we covered. Old tools. See, you got a bunch of broken tools and you don't have backup, and you got 20 men out there working. You finish 5 minutes slower every day. That's 13 hours a day. That's 3,000 hours a year you're losing. 166 grand you lose just because you won't buy good tools. You won't do a tool inventory. You won't have a trailer out there with a complete inventory of tools. So let's say we decide to upgrade our tools and buy better tools. So let's say it's $125,000 a year for better tools, small tools, hand tools, skill saws, drills, hammers, rotor hammers, all those kinds of little things, whatever it takes, you know. And I know there's a lot of efficiency tools. If you're a mason, you got all sort of lifting machines and all sorts of stuff that saves a lot of money, scaffolding programs, all sorts of stuff. But let's say you spend an extra $100,000 or $150,000 a year. 15 grand a month, 10 grand a month. So you get 20 men, 2,000 hours a year, 50 weeks, 40,000 hours a year. If you save 5 minutes an hour on good tools at $50 an hour, you will have saved $166,000 a year just on better tools. And it's going to cost you $100,000, $150,000 to save $166,000. You're going to come out ahead. I don't really want to come out ahead. I just want to break even. I could spend $166,000 on new tools and just break even with 20 men. So think about how you can improve productivity, whether it's on your job, whether your company or your industry. Just think. Go out and watch your crews, watch your jobs, watch your foreman, have a meeting with all your crew leaders, what are some things we can do to improve productivity? Pull out a site plan. You got all the toilets over here and you're working over here. This does not make sense. All right, be smart, plan ahead, make more money, implement some improvement programs, and get your productivity to be a profit center instead of a profit loser. Okay, as a thank you gift, I'm going to offer you a complete productivity improvement worksheet and checklist of how you can do that, and that'll be my free gift. And you just have to visit www.contractorprojectsuccess.com and you can download that, and also you can download the first copy of the first chapter of my book, Turn Your Construction Business into a Profit-Making Machine. All right, hopefully that gave you good ideas, and hopefully it'll improve your bottom line so you can have more time to hire good people or take more time off, or maybe you're going to buy that big boat. All right, thanks. See you soon.